requests.
Yeah. There we go.
Sasquatch.
Yep. And request. Okay. You should be in.
Alright. I got nothing here.
The jankiest. Refresh the page. Alright, here we go. My YouTube's up. Oh, good. You're there. Sick.
Hey.
Good. How do we sound?
You sound good.
Good. Frame. Camera 1, camera 2.
Channel 1.
And.
Alright, I like it. Boosted. You're not wrong.
He's such
There's John. What's up, bud?
Such a dick.
Yeah.
He should change it to be bounced.
Bounced.
Be bounced 914.
Oh my god. That video is out there somewhere, man.
Oh yeah,
I gotta find
absolutely.
it.
We're gonna find it. We're gonna put it up on the interwebs. That way we learned him.
Stevie
Mash
Pit.
Mash Pit. Okay.
That show hasn't been on in a while.
No, it hasn't. Especially after Alan Alda went home. All that. But so anyway.
There we were. So we wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about our experience at TACCON. It was our second year, and I think we have like a teeny bit more experience at that event versus where we started off.
Mm-hmm.
So, it became a pretty important event in our schedule, and I don't know, we kind of got up to a bunch of things.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Both years. So we just, I don't know, like a lot of people have been asking us about our experience at TACCON. And one of the things that I found myself doing was just kind of like, oh yeah, here's what happened. Here's, what we experienced. This is what it was like. And
it's a lot to write down.
Too much. I gave up on that a while ago.
Exactly. So, like, I saw all these fantastic, they were like AARs that people were posting online. And I just kind of went, wow, that's a lot of words. So, the thought process on this was so that we could kind of share it with you guys, our experience and avoid having to write the world's longest paragraphs, because I think we all had a great experience, but there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
The entire trip from leaving the house on Sunday afternoon until coming home like that Wednesday night, like the following Wednesday night, the entire trip was amazing in itself. The Maryland class, the 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, teaching for the Montgomery County Police Department. Fantastic group of dudes, fantastic class. They definitely worked their asses off. A lot of hardworking dudes there, and they really enjoyed it. And that was really cool. Like, to me, like, to kick off that trip with that 2-day class was like, holy shit! Like, wow, we're going up. It's like a skyrocket, that really kicked off the trip, I think, on a high note, and it just got better and better.
Yeah, without question. And I think it's worth mentioning that I think the idea that our friends and folks in law enforcement are finding the time, finding the money, and putting the effort in, even if maybe they're not on the special teams. And I think that's really important to highlight. Like, with everything that big dialogue about like defunding cops, we know what happens with that. It takes away from their ability to sharpen their skills and be able to apply, the best quality skill set that they can with their firearm, because they're professional carriers of firearms. So this is a very different situation for them. They're there to, to stop that threat. But, the idea is that the only that is the threat receives the what's coming out of their muzzle, right? And that's all predicated on them having a skill set that they continue to maintain beyond the academy. And I think it's really commendable that when you have folks, like we had people from all different types of departments within that agency who had very different jobs, very different responsibilities, whether it was like, the special victims, children, like really awful things that person has to see on a daily basis.
Wasn't there like, there was special victims, there was parole, there was school resource, there was SWAT team guys, there were the park police, the pony police. It was basically every
people who work midnights, people who work days, all over the place, the full gamut. And I think that's, it's really important to understand, like, these people took the time out of the opportunity for them to be with their family to come and train. And, it's really, really important to highlight that. That's important. These people can potentially lose their life in this job, and every moment with their family is so important. And I think it's worthwhile to just kind of highlight. I think it's incredibly important to give them a pat on the back just for taking that time away from the family to be able to go train. And they were all awesome.
What I thought was really cool as well is their in-house instructors that teach and work and teach at that range were in the class. And these are guys that, they're the ones normally doing the teaching and helping guys get through quals and shit like that. And it was like, they were in the class, they all learned something, they all pushed themselves outside of their comfort zones. And that says a lot about their own integrity, that like, they were like, hey, I'm going to get on the line with the guys that we teach and stand right next to them and potentially show them, hey, I have some weak spots too. And that, that always gains our utmost respect when we see the educators out there still trying to educate themselves to help their, their students, their clients, their cadets, whoever it is. That I think is amazing and really demands and commands respect from everybody else.
Everybody, yeah, agreed. And I mean, like you said, like, what a great way to kick off our trip, right? And it's not a foreign concept for folks to be out there and traveling and training, on our team. But we knew going into this was the first stop. It was 2 days with them. And we were obviously hoping that we would have a bunch of folks that were open and interested and engaged. And we absolutely got that. And it's a great way to kind of then continue that entire ethos into the TACCON event, So we made the stops along the way. We made sure that we hit Royal Farms for Sean.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I wonder, did that have an impact on your performance in the pistol match? Starting off with a little bit of
perhaps. I think that was a good primer for the entire TACCON event. Being able to stop and not quite that much. On the way back, that's another story.
But yeah, I mean, so we made it down to Texas in like the appropriate amount of time. We didn't have anything too weird. The Fed sled abided, and the world's biggest expedition on the face of the earth.
Wild.
What about? But yeah, so I think a lot of people have asked us about what the event is all about, and I was wondering if you guys can give me a little bit of like the vibe that you get from TACCON versus some of the other bigger events that we've been to.
I just thought this was a coming together of people from all walks of life, all different backgrounds, all different cultures, and that was what was really cool, was just to see nobody cared about anything other than, hey, are we learning stuff? Hey, is everybody safe? Hey, is everybody having a good time?
Except for those degenerates with tattoos.
Yeah, there was that little incident with one ignorant, prejudiced person, but I don't want to get into that. That's already been discussed 1,000 times, but I will say that it, to take a look at somebody and judge them based on the way that they look, or just say, oh, that guy's got a tattoo on his head, he must be some kind of derelict. There were tattoos everywhere. Yeah. Everyone there had some sort of, not everyone, but I would say half the crowd there had some sort of artwork on them. And one person's rude, unbiased or uncalled for comment brought all those people together, and that was amazing. Everyone kind of just unified in this solidarity kind of movement of screw that guy, you know, like I have a tattoo too, and it's like everyone's coming over and showing, like, look, I got one over here, look at the one on my boob, and I'm like, oh, let me see that one again. But you know, that was really cool, and I think that really backfired on that poor fool. You know, so there was
I'll
that.
say, like, today, so we headed up to Hartford Gun Club with Sean, our team leader, and the rest of the team, Noah and Nick, and Nick drove up because he's got, you know, like a hybrid, and gas prices are nightmarishly bad, and obviously we want to save that money for ammunition. And so ultimately, you know, he was asking me some questions about the event. He was like, oh, hey, is this just for like advanced shooters? And I was like, no, man, they actually do a really good job. Like Tiffany and the entire Rangemaster crew do an incredible job at you know, highlighting the skill sets of the folks coming inbound so that they can get the most out of this event. But then also the more experienced shooters have the opportunity to be in classes to stretch their legs and push harder on their fundamentals and, you know, learn something, whether it's, you know, a new drill or, hey, I want to take this home. I want to teach my people what this person highlighted, or, you know, hey, this is a fantastic instructor. I want more time with this person. But I think that went across the board. It didn't matter what your skill set was. And I think we've been to a lot of places where it absolutely caters to the more experienced shooter, which is fine. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's like everybody knows what they're there for. Everybody has a certain level of skill set. And there's nothing wrong with those events. But I do think that it is important to have a way in for folks to understand what a larger training event can be and what it's about. But then also, like, I described it to Nick, it's like high school. You have these, like, what's in your morning period, what's in your afternoon period, and then you have these transition times where everybody is kind of heading to their respective classrooms, right? And then we're all kind of rubbing shoulders. Oh, hey, which one were you in before? Oh, I was in this one. Like, I know, Sean, you were in Simon Gollub's class, and you were like, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible.
You have to get into it. And I was like, awesome. You know, I'll see you. I got some time on Sunday morning. We hopped in that. I know you jumped back in that class because you were so impressed by what he had to say and do and teach and his style. So, like, we, you know, there were a couple folks that were new, you know, names that we'd heard of. But I also think it was, like, awesome to be able to jump in Jim's class. Because we've shot with Jim before, but hadn't been taught by Jim. So, like, Sean, what were some of your favorite instructors?
Well, we talked about, Simon Gollub is great just because he does a lot of what I do, essentially, which is concealed carry performance, being able to do the splits and the draws, but having it from a concealed carry, like, that was literally called cold performance was the class. So, and he paralleled a lot of the things that we said. And just for people who don't really know, TACCON, in like the simplest description, it's under Tom Givens, Rangemaster. They put a 3-day conference on of just, I was thinking it was over 30, almost 40 instructors in just 2-hour blocks, multiple ranges at Dallas Pistol Club, multiple classrooms, and you can sign up for whatever live fire classes. But if you have a free block, you can just wander over somewhere and, like, oh, they're doing this class. Hey, do you have a spot? Yeah, jump in. And there's obviously lectures going throughout the day. But Simon Gollub was a great one. I actually have never taken a class with Jim. I've only been with him in the classes. Jim Shanahan runs a great program, a lot of thought into it, awesome skills. And being that this was my second one, I knew some people, so I got to jump into Gabe White's class again. Buddies with him now. He's super cool.
Yeah.
What was another one? I feel like there's so many. Like, there's just so much over the 3 days. It's like you forget because you're just jumping from one thing to the next to the next to the next. And, you know, there's so many that was incredible.
It was, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a slow burn where you're like, oh, wait a minute, I want to look this up. Ben, what were some of the instructor highlights that you had?
So I have this really bad habit where there'll be a whole list of instructors and there'll be a bunch that I don't know that I probably should go take a class with. But then there'll be a bunch of guys that I do know that I train with all the time or am buddies with. And I'm like, hey, I want to go support my crew. I want to go take a spot in, you know, Eric's class or Chuck's class or Ashton's class and show my support for my guys that are there doing their class, doing their thing, instead of like being like, oh yeah, sorry, Ash and Tim, I didn't go to your class because I went to somebody else's class. Like, I'm sure they'd be like, oh, that's awesome, cool, try something new. But, at the same time, I'm like, no, I want to support my guys. So the grip sights trigger with Chuck Haggard. Chuck's amazing. Chuck always puts on just quality. No, don't take this the wrong way. No frills, but like no bullshit, no fluff. It's just straight up awesome, perfect technique. Eric's block was great. Anybody who hates shooting support side,
whole 2 hours.
You get to do 2 whole hours of support side, which, I'm a big fan of it. I love doing it because it's a challenge, it's difficult, and I'm always up for that. So Eric Gelhaus, who will be out here, me and Eric are on the road together in June for about 2 weeks teaching together. That was phenomenal. It was just good to hang out with Eric and get to joke around with him and stuff. Jim Shanahan's Dauntless X, fantastic, just quality. But I expected that. Out of Jim. Like, there was no doubt in my mind. It was my first thing with Jim teaching, and I was like, oh, this is going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think that this is going to suck. I'm like, this is going to be some good shit right here. I want to get in on that. So there was that. And then I did 10-second ride or 8-second ride with Ash and Tim, which is a classic, always fun. I don't know how many times I've done that one with them, but it's just always a lot of fun. And it kicks my ass too, because Ash will come up and just be like, there's this one little thing that you do, and I don't know if you're aware that you do it. And I'm like, wait, son of a bitch, I do that. Damn it, thanks. And then I did the shotgun class with Ash and Tim, the first block, and then Ash was like, hey, we got a lot of people for the second block. Would you mind, working as an AI for us? And I said, yeah, who else do you have as an AI? And he says, oh, it'll be you and Rob Haught. And I'm like, I guess I can work as an assistant instructor with Rob Haught, for you guys. Twist my arm. I'll show Rob Haught a few things. So that was really cool too, and that was nice to just get on the line and get back to what has become as of late my familiar side of the line, where I'm helping and tweaking and suggesting little pieces of advice to new shooters or people that aren't like schooled up with the shotgun as we are. So that was certainly cool, and to look over and like Rob Haught's kind of looking at me, adjusting something on somebody and kind of gives me the nod of approval and walks away. And it was like, oh, well, cool. I guess I might have some idea what I'm doing. I don't know. But that was cool. There was a lot of cool stuff, and there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to get into on the wait list and things like that. But it was just like, I'm over here and that thing's happening over there, and it starts in 3 minutes, and I'm not going to make it.
This was the problem the first year. We were like, there's so much to choose from. And I think it's, we're all in a boat where we see familiar faces and we want to support them. But we also want to get to know the new faces, right?
The other one that I got into on a wait list was Tatiana's Take a Seat class, which was a lot of fun. Shooting from seated position, recovering to standing, moving. And there was, obviously, there was an older gentleman in a wheelchair who I had partnered up with, and I kind of wanted to like, hey, I want to see how this is going to work with the guy in the wheelchair. So that was kind of cool too. I got to partner with him, and he was, older guy running, God's Caliber 1911. So that was kind of cool. It was like, man, this dude was either in World War II or the Korean War, one of the two. But
actually, the Vietnam vets are starting to kind of now look to
the World War II vets.
We were children, right?
Yeah, but he was. He was super cool. I made a comment because when we recovered to standing from shooting in a seated position, recover to standing, you give the chair a little bit of a pop and it's supposed to, move a few feet behind you. And I stood up and I'm shooting and he's shooting. And I go, hey, you're supposed to like kind of bump that chair a little bit past behind you. And he looks at me like, I can't do that. And I'm like, all right, well then if you just do the drill however you want, then whatever. But he got the joke. Super cool dude. And that was, her class was really good, really solid, solid stuff from her. But again, I'm not surprised. I expect that. There's certain people that I'm like, oh, they ran a really solid class. So no shit. I'm not surprised. Not surprised that it was good.
And I think that, that went for us, I'll echo the same statement. Jim's class was phenomenal. And to be clear, so that everybody knows who may not be familiar, when we're saying class, guys, it's only 2 hours.
Yeah.
So these are very short blocks. And as an educator, you really have to make decisions on what is possible. But you also have to very carefully understand how you teach within a 2-hour block, which when we had quick discussion with Jim at the end of the block that Sean and I were in, it was where we went up and we highlighted it. It's very clear that you carefully went through this course, this 2-hour block, and made sure that you rounded all the corners and accounted for a lot of different things, because he did manage to fit in quite a bit of shooting, quite a bit of education with folks that he's not going to know. And this is also the other aspect of it. This works as a teacher, as an instructor. This does work a lot of criticals where you are getting a fleet of people. I mean, in Lou's class, she had 30 people, right? Like, I think that's what we were at, Sean, when we were in Lou's class.
It's a lot of people.
And it was. It's a lot of people, right? So you have folks who are effectively strangers for the most part. So like 80-90% of your line are folks that you've never seen shoot before, never seen handle a gun before. You have them for 2 hours, and the job is to be able to help them be better in a very short amount of time, and that's no easy feat. And it was clear, of course, the friends of ours that, Ben, as you mentioned, that you like to jump in their classes, like, these are folks that we know that can handle that. And of course, we had the same expectation from Jim, because we've shot with him before. We know how much he's done as far as like education in the shooting world. And I think we've all sort of said, like, we wish more people knew about Jim specifically. I think he's like one of those folks that does need a lot more recognition in what he's contributed and how he's developed shooters. But then, I mean, the idea of being able to spend time on your non-dominant hand in Eric's class works because Eric is so experienced in teaching, and also a genuinely good. I want to make sure my students are good. Like, he is looking out for his student base. He's trying to ensure that they are developing their skill set. And I think that happens only when it's like, whether the student knows it or not, that's clear. Like, the student will feel that that person is there for them, not there to show off their skill set. That comes across, and whether they're tracking it purposefully or not, all of the folks that, we had the opportunity to jump in their classes were clear representations of that. But you have a very short amount of time. And I think everybody did a really incredibly good job. The whole time that we were there, a lot of the courses that I was taking were a mix of defensive shooting, accuracy. We got some drill time in Lou's class. We also got some competition time in Tim Reedy's class, which was cool. And like, Ben, you brought the shotgun down. We were in the Fed sled and made very good use of the Van Comp share cover.
Yes.
So that
those are good.
As we were traveling for 2 weeks, no one knew that there was a shotgun in that bag.
It was my camp chair.
Okay. For everybody else.
It was totally my camp chair.
Yeah, it's totally your camp chair. But in the mix of all of that is the pistol match. So, and that is, something that, of course, we have to talk about. So a couple things happen with the pistol match. Now, the first time we went, I was very unprepared. I definitely just kind of threw all my 17s and like my normal. I treated it like I was going to shooter symposium. Yes. So we'll talk about it. So the first time we were there, it was very much like, I don't know, spin me around, point me where you need me to go. You know, we all sort of approached it in very much like that manner. I very much did not prepare well for it. So, but we got out there and you know, we got into what is normally the pistol match shooting portion, which you get assigned a slot, some sort of time frame, and then you're, you know, you're jumping into a set course of fire, and you're on a line with like, what would you say, like 8 shooters? Maybe.
Honestly, it varied for each relay because that's one thing with the pistol match. It's like you get an assigned time, but at the same time, like if you don't have a class right now and you can go over to the range and say, hey, is there a spot? They'll let you shoot it whenever. It's like as long as they get you in a relay, it's not a big deal. And it varies. I've seen some relays where it was like 3 people. I think when me and Ben shot, there was probably 10 people on the line, but they have space for up to, what was it, 12 or 14?
Yeah, I shot mine early. Like I was supposed to shoot, I don't even remember when, but I was like, oh, I can do it now.
Yeah, I think we shot it at like 10 o'clock on the first day.
Yeah.
We got like right to it after class.
Yeah, instead of the second day at 11:30, I shot it the first day at like 10. I was like, let me just get this done and over with, and then I can have that whole lunchtime the next day open.
Yeah, and the course of fire is, there's like 2 phases as they describe it. The first phase is very much like a truncated version of the range master qual, and you know, kind of a defensive accuracy oriented, but you have a time limitation with all of that. You do have a part time. It's not going to be a beep. The target's turn, so it's not even like you can argue it. There's no more target. Like you didn't make it. There's nothing else to shoot. It's gone. And so that makes it kind of cut and dry for the volume of shooters that are there. I think that's a smart move. And then they have oh my God, it just fell on my head.
Tiebreaker, second phase, words, it's fine. I got you. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So the first phase is like the range master qual, just 5, 7, 10, 15 yards, and it's a turn. They do it on a turning target. So you get on the line, it's bladed towards you. Target presents itself. You draw. You do your thing. Fire whatever that particular string is, and then after 4 seconds, it closes off, and that's it. Then second phase is the tiebreaker, which is a hit factor. So this year's tiebreaker was on the new Rangemaster target. Is a little like craniocular box on a paper target, and 2 little gray circles they refer to as parrots, which on the shoulder, I kind of get that. For this year, it was from a low ready, 2 to the face box, and 2 to each of the little 2-inch circles on hit factor. So it's your hits divided by your time. They had it set up where on the shoulders, if you missed it, you had minus 10 points. It was a mic, so people were getting eaten alive by this one. So you get your total points from the first phase of the turning targets, and then the hit factor time is added in. For those of you who know hit factor, you get really weird decimals for your points, so that would make it very specific for who placed first. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about the placement for that because there's more to go, but...
Yeah, so, I mean, and this is a thing that, again, like we said, it's happening over that Friday and Saturday. So throughout the event, you can either jump into your assigned time slot, or, if there's an opening and you want to shoot a little bit earlier. I know my time slot was on Friday, and it was in the afternoon, and our good buddy, Sasquatch Tactical, Aaron, and Chris, both, we were kind of hanging out, because you can watch the folks that are shooting in the pistol match. You can hang out in the shade and watch the shooters compete. And Aaron was like, man, I'd like to get this done sooner than later. So he ended up shooting in my relay. We went a little bit earlier just because we had the time. There was this open space. So we got that done around on Friday, which was great. And then I could just kind of focus on, hey, what do I have going on Saturday? Got all these classes, blah, blah, blah. So you're just kind of going about your life. And then the standings get posted on Saturday night. So that happens in the TACCON Facebook group, and so we got to see where everybody stood at the end of those 2 days. The entire 250 person group of folks that enter into that, right?
Yeah.
So this is a limited event, so that people know it's not like it just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. There is a fixed number of seats available for this event. If you miss it, it sells out. Too bad, so sad. That's it. But yeah, so at the end of the day on Saturday, they posted the standings. And this is still useful to kind of understand your performance versus some of the other folks that were there, understanding overall performance, because while the categories which exist, which is open, lady, senior, and law enforcement,
Yep.
I think, as all of the categories that are there. So you get to see where you fall for every person that has entered into the pistol match. And I think that was pretty much it. That was everybody this year for the most part, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember if we didn't have a lot of people drop off from it. And again, this is not like a USPSA stage. This is not an stage. So it's very welcoming for folks who have never really competed before. So they get the opportunity to try their hand at competing against a lot of other shooters without needing to know competition rules, right? So that's also a very diplomatic way to get people involved in competing with everybody at the event, which I really think is important. And so anyhow, to the end of the day on Saturday, we see the standings posted for this past year. And OFT is doing just fine. So I threw a shot in phase one. I'm still going to be mad about it. I'm going to be mad about it for a very long time.
You? Nah, never.
Okay, so awesome. So I thank you, LMD. 250 shot the qual. So we did have 250 people in competition together. So Tiffany's just joined us live. She's the woman who is responsible for this event happening the way that it happens, which is flawlessly, as far as we can
They had to get a doctor to organize it
Yes,
because
they
it's
did.
so damn complex.
Yeah,
We're gonna need a doctor for this one.
It's really hard for folks to understand how messy an event like this could be.
Yeah.
If someone at the range was any less qualified or intelligent to be able to get this done. Ben and I come from a background in the whole nightclub industry and shows. So events for us are something that we have a lot of experience with. So I don't say that as someone who's just attended things. I say that as like, yeah, man, we've been there from the very beginning with promoters, with selling tickets, with advertising, with also making sure that there's bathrooms, all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, all of the ancillary stuff that many people just take for granted. The whole Rangemaster team does an incredible job, but Tiffany's also somebody who I'll congratulate again, getting her doctorate. This is an incredibly accomplished woman that's executing this. So anyhow, enough of that, but we could go on forever. But the reality is, like I said, OFT was doing just fine. I was mad. I threw a shot. So I was coming in third on the standings this year on Saturday night. You guys remember where you were on the standings on Saturday night? I know where Sean is, but
Whatever. I was in ninth out of 16.
Okay.
So out of the top. Well, let's clarify. The 9th out of the top 16 who make it to the shoot-off.
Right.
But you were 9th out of 250.
9th out of 250. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
And it wasn't 8th, but then again, it wasn't 10th. So, and I certainly wasn't 16th. So that's good too.
Yeah, and topping off the list, of which I made it in, the 49th position, just barely, due to, my brain fart, is Sean, right?
Yeah.
So for our regulars, no one is going to be surprised by that. But again, anything can happen. And this is a course of fire where if your gun goes down, too bad, so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reshoots, there's no oopsies, there's none of that. You get your chance, and that's your chance, and that's it. And I think that's also very important to understand. There's not a lot of, we'll play this one more time. And so that means even accomplished shooters can see that they have somehow been eliminated from the running. And so for this year, coming in on Saturday night, as soon as that stuff was posted, we were all really excited because we felt like this was going to be, Sean, your redemption from the previous year.
Yeah, and this year, I will say with the match was a very interesting one because this tiebreaker, it ate some guys' lunch because there were some really good shooters that I knew from last year personally who were placed above me who did not even make it to the top 16 this year. So they really stepped it up on the qual in the tiebreaker this year.
There was a lot of like, well, why isn't that person in the top 16?
Oh, yeah.
I was hoping that it wouldn't have come down to me and you.
That would have been poetic.
Because I actually was trying to figure out how to make a Sean Martin's Glock voodoo doll. Because while you were while you were having your hands up, I was just going to be here and hit the mag release on the voodoo doll and watch you come up and watch your mag drop out, slide, whatever happens. And I knew, like, man, if I have to go up against Sean, I am doomed. And I was kind of like, well, if anybody has to go up against Sean, they're going to be doomed.
They're also doomed.
They're also doomed.
And to be clear, like last year, you made it into the top 16 previously, and Daniel, where I didn't realize, I hadn't seen him shoot before.
Oh, he's good. He's excellent.
And I was like, oh man, this is gonna be crazy because he's got that same extremely fast and accurate skill set.
Fuck that guy.
So it's like you're gonna have a real competitor, right? Like this is gonna be something where it's not just about crushing the rest of the field. Like it's going to be a real dogfight, right? And so like this year, it happens, right? So tell me a little bit about like where your headspace was walking into the shoot-off.
So actually, and going back to what you said about throwing that shot from the qual and like not letting it upset you all year, I would be lying if I didn't say getting. Oh, of course.
I'm not gonna.
But
never gonna go away.
Yeah, I would be lying if I said that. Oh yeah, getting knocked out the first round of the shoot-off last year didn't bother me for all 365 days leading up to TACCON this year. So absolutely, because I believe at the time, the summer prior, I had set the casino drill record, so I was kind of known in the Rangemaster space. So there was some kind of expectation going into TACCON. Obviously placing in the top 16, doing very well. But getting into the first round, I went up against Matt Rakestraw, who's another excellent shooter. He's a fellow Modern Samurai black belt patch holder. Excellent shooter, but I got first two tourneys, I got knocked right out immediately. So first relay, first level of it, done, and I was out. And that, like, it hurt. I'd be lying if I said that didn't hurt. So that bothered me. And I don't know if it was like an ammo and the falling targets. So for those of you who don't know what the shoot-off is, it's 3, like, plastic dummies with a steel plate behind them with a t-shirt. So it's simulating what you would see as an actual...
It's not a steel plate. It's a steel strip
it's a
of
sliver.
metal.
Yeah, it's the perception.
It's rigged. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, the perception of how big it is once you see it back. Anyway.
Mine was rigged.
Years of perhaps, because I know after the wind fell, they started tightening the screw up for the tolerance behind it and just whacking it, not moving, just staying up. But for those of you who don't know, the shoot-off is you and another guy side by side. There's 3 falling steel silhouettes and then a little popper, but down at 15 yards. This year, you start hands at shoulders. Tom Givens on the microphone says, go, you both draw. First, next one, last one, and then you hit the popper, and whoever's popper falls first, that is the winner for that run. And there's no par time, it's just you and another guy. So things like nerves come into play. So so whatever mistakes I made last year, whatever roll of the universal dice happened, I got knocked out in the first round, and I got so angry that I became a grandmaster in USPSA. And then once we were talking about, oh, TACCON's coming back, and as soon as you said that, I'm like, we're going to TACCON this year. We are going to TACCON this year. So
angry about it. You were angry about it.
A little, perhaps.
Yeah.
So the whole.
We definitely were like, we're gonna leave him alone after last year because I was like.
It was a very quiet ride home.
Oh, we got in a car.
Quiet ride home.
We got in a car last year, and I was like, and I look at Rachel. We look at each other like,
I'll say it.
just hope he doesn't have his gun on him.
So, year goes by, USPSA things happen, and then TACCON 2, I'm like, all right, I got to work on some shit. So, I'll be completely honest. In addition to all the training and stuff we've been doing, I set up, like, I took some time at Paladin at Hudson Valley where we train. They got that little, like, 8-inch steel popper. I pushed that thing all the way to the back of the range, and I'm like, just really trying to refine whatever that was. Come back TACCON this year, qualification goes good. All right, I came in first. Good stuff. That's where I should be. For personal skill, not out of arrogance. Come to the shoot-off. I'm like, all right, I'm looking at the faces there. Obviously, Zaniel, who won last year, he's in it. Scotty Cronin's in it. Saw your name in there. Eric Gelhaus made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric was in there. I'm forgetting some of the other. I know some of the gun set guys. A lot of great, excellent shooters.
Yeah, Price was in there.
Mm-hmm. And that
guy CJ from Surefire was in there.
Oh, that's right, CJ. Yeah,
Cowan,
totally.
Yep, CJ Cowan.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
CJ Momoa.
Walmart Momoa. But that's also the thing of what. That's also the thing you got to recognize with this shoot off. This is all Rangemaster people, and Tom was talking to us at the brief of the stage. 15 out of 16 of the shoot-off shooters were Rangemaster instructors. So there is an incredibly, possibly the best defensive shooters in the country, flat out.
Yeah, same for the ladies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have some good ones there.
Instructors.
Yeah, the ladies were no joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was a bunch of them. I was like, wow, holy shit. Fantastic shooters. But yeah, Zaniel knocked me out. I got past Memphis.
Yeah, that's right. Memphis was there too.
And then Tom called me and Zaniel, and I was like, son of a bitch. Like, of all the people I got to go up against next.
Even then, like
I was hoping you would have knocked him out.
Right.
And then I would have gotten to go up against, I mean, at that
Somebody.
point, anybody but the dude who was last year's champion. You know, like that's definitely a mental
that's
like,
a weight
mind fuck too. Like, shit, I got to go up against the guy who smoked everybody last year. Like, and that kind of, I guess, obviously played part in what was going on.
Of course, yeah. Oh, the mental aspect is bad. Even more than like a USPSA stage or like a qualification. There's a giant mental aspect of like you and 15 other of these great shooters kind of looking around at each other. It's like, all right, whose name's coming up? Who am I going against? And not to discredit you at all, but when he said your name and Zan Bombach, I went, ooh.
Oh, so did I. I literally went, fuck.
Damn.
But here's the funny thing though. Like, I wasn't nervous at all, like going up, like waiting.
I can't say that.
Well, here's the funny thing. I wasn't nervous, like, for me going up. I was like, come on, I want to do this. I want to shoot. I want to go. I want to get this done with. Let's get it on, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm all in. Let's do this. Every time that you would go up, I was back on the line, like, and like I'm pacing back and forth, and I'm like, I'm clutching my, and like you had one where like, I guess it was like you won, then you lost, then you won, then you lost, and like you won one, and I was like, yeah, and then you lost one, and I'm like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And then you won another one, and I was like, yeah, like, but I'm back there pacing back and forth, and like my hands are shaking, and I'm like, oh man, come on.
Mhm.
Like I'm back there rooting for you
Yeah.
so fucking hard.
Forgot about
Like,
yourself.
yeah, well, whatever. Like I was already out at that
Mhm.
point. You were still going through everybody,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh man, he's got to get it, and like, holy shit, when you finally got it, it was like, oh my god,
Uh-huh.
like, it was wild. Like all that. It was like the stress level for me
Mhm.
watching you
Yeah.
was like
Well,
through the fucking roof.
Don't for a minute expect you to realize this, Sean, but it was dead quiet
Yeah.
when you and Daniel were at
Mhm.
this.
So I
Everybody
couldn't.
was
Obviously,
You could cut. You
Yeah.
could
Oh
cut
my
that.
God, yeah,
That
everyone was just like, it was like everybody was like,
cut
"Holy
that
shit."
tension in the air with an axe. Prop humor, always funny.
I mean, obviously, like I can only say so much because I couldn't feel anything outside of like my little sphere of this has to happen. But
Sure.
I can imagine that the tension must have been pretty palpable when we went up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it was like, this was like, again, like a good, like a testament to, I don't like, there's something to be said for it is still important to get around folks that push you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
And I think it's fair to say that, Sean, you have so much talent. It is hard to find those folks for you. And I think like this was also like a very important opportunity for you to have that experience
Oh, of course.
to some degree.
Absolutely.
But also too, like it's awesome to see that there is so much talent, like
Mhm.
somebody like Daniel that's out there, educating folks, being an educator, showing people that this is something that you can achieve, that there is, put the hard work in, whether, it's like something that, you experienced, Sean, which of course you already were talented when you had that happen, but it's like sometimes it takes a motivator like that to really kind of buckle down. We knew that you were capable of winning it last year. It's just shit happens, right? Just like where LMD is saying like, I had something happen, I had a misfire. But whatever it is, the reality is it's still important for like everybody to see the both of you as incredibly talented, fast, but also more importantly accurate, right? It's not just frenetic energy. And I hesitate to use the word fast, but it's the fastest way for me to just encapsulate that, right? So we know why we dislike that word. But incredibly efficient shooters to dogfight, to really throw down. And again, this is a competition style that I think is like, we were talking about it, right? So that both of you shoot so quickly, and Ben highlighted it, the wind and the adjustments that were made to these falling targets meant that you had to commit to basically one or the other types of approaches, which is that the one was, well, I can shoot it and then watch it, but that first like 5 to 10% that it was starting to move was slow.
Yes.
And it's like if you waited on the target, especially against a fast shooter, an efficient shooter, you were not going to make that popper fall first. So you sort of had to commit to making a good hit and then moving on and not like watching the target fall. And for everybody that may not be familiar with this, if you shoot out of sequence, you're immediately going to lose, right? Like that's your forfeiting that round. So if you shoot a target like the first one and it falls, you shoot at the second one and it doesn't, and then you shoot at the third and it falls, you cannot go back to that like unfallen target, which means you're done.
Yeah, you lost that round,
that
right?
popper, but it doesn't matter because all 3 targets did fall. So like you had to commit to either watching, which with either one of you guys as quickly as you move through stuff, it was not going to work, or you committed to, I'm going to send it, I'm going to move, and then I'm just going to know that it was a good hit and move on, and then the target must fall
Yes.
as a result of my good hit.
I'm shooting 45 ACP on that shit next year.
Yeah, bring the 357 stick to that. Yeah, and that's something that's actually funny that you bring it up. Going back and look at all the videos that Tiffany did of each run, and I distinctly remember now that I'm watching it back. On one of those runs, I want to say it was the second one against Daniel. I drew 1, 2, 3, popper, good. And as I hit the popper, I brought my eyes back and I'm like, oh, that target's not okay, good, now it's falling. Because especially, depending on how they had to calibrate each one, because there's a very fine line, Tom was actually saying this on the course, where there's a very fine line of getting a 9mm round to knock it over and the wind being able to push it.
Yeah.
So I distinctly remember what you were talking about. It's like, okay, good spot, good spot, good spot. Hit the popper. Oh, okay, good. No, that is falling now.
Could I run it with a judge next year?
This is whack.
With the slug in it?
With 410,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but, and so, and I, again, thank you to Tiffany for getting and capturing the videos. I mean, there were quite a few folks videoing at that time because, it was clear that it was an important,
Yes.
element of the competition that everybody really wanted to capture. So that was great. So we have lots of video of it, but it was really awesome to see you win it, especially knowing that it didn't go correctly. Like it just didn't go right the year before, and wasn't from lack of trying, kind of situation. So it was gratifying because guys, we're in New York. It was a long drive, even though there was the law enforcement course in Maryland. It's still days that we're in the Fed sled, heading down to Texas, and it's a lot of investment, and there's hotels and ammunition. I will say another really nice note about this event is you don't use a lot of ammunition over these 3 days. It's very it's sort of very frugal about its ammunition volume use, which you get a lot of education versus how much ammunition you spent.
I think I shot about 300 a day.
Well, also talking about ammunition expenditure, it depends on, that's up to you, to be honest. Like, how much ammo do you want to shoot? Like, you can do one live fire block a day and maybe shoot 200 over the course of the 3 days. Versus being that, we know Tim and Ashton. Yeah. I'm friends with Gabe White. We know we know Jim. It's like you can go to somebody it's like, hey, do you have a spot? And you could do 3 or 4 classes a day, and you could really you could put a lot of ammo down the next couple of days.
I liked actually Gabe White, for example. I liked getting a chance to talk music with Gabe White. That was cool. Both of us, being a former music producer, creator, and him being a current.
Shout out Leopard Step.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his project. Good
techno music. But we got to talk for extended time length just about music, and that was kind of cool to have something to talk about at an event that had nothing to do with the event, and that was that really kind of sends home what the event's about. It's a bunch of people that have a common interest, but you never know, you may have some other common interest with somebody that is completely outside of the ballpark of where we're at. And that was really neat to be able to sit and just be like, dude, Aphex Twin, blah, 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 whatever, and have conversations about
another
stuff.
Big thing talking about meeting different people. So we talk about this event, there's over 30 instructors, all these guys. There's lectures from these giants of firearms history, Tom Givens, obviously, Masad Ayub, John Farnham. But not only is this event about these instructors are doing this, you could be on the line. I'm the second Simon Gold class we took. We could be on the line. It's we're working. It's there's Lee Weems, one of the other big Rangemaster instructors. 2 people down the line. That's Masad Ayub shooting a full-size 1911 in this class. You could be anywhere, and the Jim Shanahan class. I probably should mention it since I'm wearing the hat. I was partnered with Tim Reedy. This is the hat that he gave me from the shoot-off. So not only is it like, oh, you get to like sit in a lecture with this guy, or you could take his class. Like, no, you very well could be on the line. And it's like, oh, hey, Wayne Dobbs, it's cool that I'm working with you on the line today. And that's another, just the camaraderie of like, oh, not only are you like taking a class from this guy, you might be partnered with him, and you might very well make a friend out of another great person in the industry.
Yeah, Wayne's a super cool dude. Yeah, Wayne. I met Wayne, I think 2 years ago down in Bandera, Texas. I did the master instructor course, and there's this big dude next to me on the line. I'm in target number 9. He's at target number 10, and I'm just like, "Hey, man, Ben," and he goes, "Oh, I'm Wayne Dobbs," and I was like, "Oh shit! Wow, you're Wayne Dobbs, huh? How are you, man?" Like, I knew the name, but I never met him. And we got along. We just kind of joked around for like 3 days down in Bandera, just goofing around on the line with each other. It was like super cool dude, but also great shooter, but totally down to earth kind of guy. Just like, hey, he's just here to have a good time and learn some stuff. And that was, it's good to see these guys, and it's good to see them shoot, and good to see them on the line next to you. Like, that gives me a whole other opinion of them. And yeah, like Masada Ayub, like I first shot with him at Tom's professional trainer symposium back 2 or 3 years ago in Nashville. And I'm in group 1, I'm on the line shooting, and I kind of look over, and like 3 or 4 people over is Masada Ayub over here. You got Lee over here. You just all these other like guys whose names you've heard for years. And well, shit, there's John Farnham on the other end of the line. God damn, I'm on the line with these guys. Wow. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think, again, like, kind of making it a full circle moment, we were highlighting that we had some of the firearms instructors from the LE folks show up on the line. These are folks that have like mixed backgrounds. Some of them have law enforcement in their background. Some of them have military in their background. You have folks that have all different types of paths that they chose to arrive at the point where they're educating folks on their firearms skill set. And I think it's still incredible that all the folks that are part of this particular slice of the training community are showing up on the line and saying, like, just sidebar, Moss, he's in his early 80s. He doesn't have any real reason to prove any firearm skill set at all, okay? And he's still getting after it. And, as somebody who was like next to him shooting, especially when we were in Simon's class, he's still throwing it down. This is not a person that is like, oh, let me choose the easy route. He's not shooting a 22, guys. We're talking about centerfire cartridges are happening. It is, as Sean said, it's a full-size 1911. He's reloading. He's doing all of these things where he's not said to himself, well, I'm going to take the easy route now. This is clearly something that
he enjoys.
Loves, and he practices what he preaches, right? This idea that you are going to need to stay educated on this. You are going to need to support your skill set on this. And, the fact that everybody at this event, of which Tiff highlighted was about 400 people in sum total, are showing up for their skill set. And there was an incredible community there. We met new faces, some old faces. I got an opportunity to sit in on Tatiana's lecture. Last year, I didn't get into any of her classes because it just didn't work, and she had to take off. My Sunday was the day that I could do stuff, but it was great seeing her again. And then Ben, you made a new tattoo artist friend.
Yep.
Remind us, what is her Instagram account for her tattoo work?
Geo Skull Tattoo, or Geo Skulls. I think it's Geo Skull. Let me double check.
Yeah.
GEO.
Describe that meeting. You
Geo
were just
Skull.
To a friend of ours about how you ended up
look at that shit,
getting a tattoo from her at the event.
That's wild. So, punk rock background, just all things punk rock. I fucking love it. And like music in general is like my other like serious passion. Um, so with the wait lists, you sign up for classes in advance and you get approved for the classes, or you get assigned, like, here's your top 3 picks, you're assigned to these times, and you can roll up to another instructor's block that you're not signed up for, and kind of like, hey, if there's an open spot, can I get in? And once everybody gets there, signs in, announces that they're there, if there's an open spot, they'll be like, all right, come on in, you can shoot on the line with everybody. So I just, hanging around, turned around, and there's this, little punk rock looking chick with a Misfit shirt on. And she's like standing there waiting, like obviously doesn't know anybody, kind of just not talking to anybody. So I just kind of rolled up and like, hey, what's up? I like the shirt, blah, blah, blah. And I like showed her the tattoo on the back of my head. And she's like, oh, cool. And she got picked to come in. So I was like, all right, well, come on over here. You can hang out over here with us. It was like me and I think Joe from Milwaukee, Wisconsin area. We were kind of partnered up in that area, like group of us. I was like, oh, come hang out with us. So we got to talking, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm a tattoo artist. And I was like, oh, no shit. I was like, I kind of like tattoos. And she's like, yeah, I have my traveling studio is here with me if you want to get tattooed. And I was like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Let's do it. Like, when? Tomorrow, 6:00? And she's like, yeah, okay. I'm like, all right, cool. I know what I want. Here's what we're gonna do. Blah blah blah. But phenomenal shooter, great tattoo artist. Geo Skull, GEOSKULL tattoo. Great shooter, great tattoo artist. Just super cool person. Like, got to sit and chat with people that aren't the normal, quote unquote, stereotypical gun people, that when you look up gun person in the dictionary, it's the guy with the Cabela's hat and the shooting, the fishing vest with the 1911 under it, with the, I don't dial 911 t-shirt.
And the giant orange ear pro.
Yeah, giant orange ear pro and Coke bottle glasses, and to see somebody who doesn't fit that norm, but looks like somebody who would be from a different part of my walk of life, to be like, hey, you don't look like the stereotypical gun person, but then again, neither do I. Hi, here's who I am. Like, who are you?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what I really enjoyed about the event, was you did have people that are like, if you were closed-minded, you could look at them and go, oh, why is that person here? They don't, what are they doing here? Who allowed the freaks in? Like, yeah, the freaks are here and we run the show sometimes. But, just kind of went up to her, started talking to her, and, like, hey, cool, let's go get tattooed, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like she's living the dream, just traveling around the country,
Yeah, right.
guns, tattooing, and, not tied to anything. It's fantastic. And,
Nope.
and to be clear, like, when Ben's talking about she's a good shooter, she came in second in the standings, went up against her in the ladies shoot off. Great shooter, like no bones about it. The lady that took top spot this year, Dakota, incredible draw. My God, I knew I wasn't gonna beat it, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go down fighting. It wasn't the smartest attitude that I took, because I was like, I'm gonna race it too. It's such a drag race, but a great shooter. We had incredible shooters in the ladies' side of the house, and it was awesome. And I was like, oh, who's this tattoo artist that you're getting a tattoo from? Oh, turns out, it's the number 2 spot shooter coming into the ladies shoot off. It was just like badass, and it was cool for everybody to kind of see everybody throwing down, and the very different types of people, right? So Dakota is, our ladies winner this year, was shooting in an Enigma in like kind of like the jogger pants that you see in a t-shirt, right? Like, I'm shooting in a t-shirt and jeans, or I think it was my cool pants, right? Because it was kind of hot the second day. And Lauren, who is the tattoo artist, in a a t-shirt and shorts, right? And you know, like the top men's, all t-shirts and jeans, t-shirts and pants, t-shirts and shorts. And we had, you know, and that's the kind of ethos of this event, is that you're generally showing up in what your everyday carry is.
Except for that one guy.
And what's that?
Except for that one guy.
Well, so this is where I was going with it. And then, so it's not.
I have
really
a sidebar
like
when you get a moment.
Event. It's not like you're going to be running around in plate carriers or any of this gear that you see folks who have to professionally carry guns. So Sean and I were hanging out. We were watching the shooters over on the pistol match. And I'm not going to get into specifics here, but there was a dude that walked up that was, you know, wearing different clothing for, like, again, what I was describing the goal of this event is, which is primarily like centered around you're developing your skills and your everyday carry stuff. So he was not in everyday carry here, and it absolutely was a situation where we were like, what's happening with that? Like it just, so you know, I think maybe he was thinking it was much more of like a tactical event because the name is TACCON. I'm not sure. You know, I don't know him, so I'm not, you know, trying to say anything about him, but ultimately it was a little odd to be showing up in like military style gear at an event. Especially like down to the helmet, which was
the helmet was definitely, obviously, like the whole matching pants to the carrier. It's like, yeah, okay, you're getting weird, but then the helmet on top of it, we're like, oh, what?
So yeah, and you know, and ultimately, like, listen, if he's, you know, ever gonna watch this video, it's like, hey, buddy, you know, just know that
we don't dislike you. That was just weird.
Well, to really develop that skill set.
He interpreted.
Carry, like, you have places for that, and there are courses where you might need the amount of pouches that you have, or
he interpreted TACCON wrong. He thought it was like tactical con, like Comic-Con or something, where you wear all your tac gear, you know, or whatever.
And so, but it's not. Just so we're clear, that's not the goal of this. You are, you know, generally going to be in your, you know, regular everyday gear. Extra pouches might be useful for just keeping ammo on board in classes. But just like another way to tie this into folks that may not be familiar with this event is, like, you don't need crazy gear. You just need a good holster, a good functioning pistol. You know, multiple mags are always beneficial. Maybe a mag carrier. Absolutely, you should always have medical gear, but ear and eye pro and ammunition, and that's pretty much it. So like a really basic setup is going to get you through this whole event.
So Ursula made a comment, red RSO hat, I guess, about the you know, when I was describing the typical, you know, gun guy. I wanted to tell her the story from yesterday. Ursula, I went and taught a private lesson for another RSO's wife up at an indoor range. And the RSO's wife was being taught by her husband. And it was all of the things that, like, we basically say, no, we're not teaching this after 1980. But you know, breaking all these bad habits that she had instilled upon her. And we're sitting there shooting, and there's another shooter, another two people shooting on a couple bays over. And the shooters on the other bays over, one of them hit the carrier. It's a little clamped metal carrier. And I hear bang, 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 woo! Like the sound of the ricochet, you know, like that's the sound a gun makes. So obviously they hit the carrier and this round ricocheted. Well, we're sitting here shooting still, and I look behind me, and one of the RSOs had come into the range. And he's walking back and forth and standing behind the shooters, watching them shoot. And I look at him, and I go, hey, man, do you have eyes? And he looks at me like, kind of, huh? And I go, do you have eyes? And he's like, yeah. And I go, no, do you have iPro? So the RSO is in the range, standing behind us shooting with no iPro on. And he goes, oh, yeah. And he pulls him out of his back pocket. And I go, well, put him on. He goes, huh? I go, put your fucking iPro on. And he points at his hat and he goes, you're aware that I'm the RSO, don't you? Or aren't you? And I go, I don't give a shit. Put your fucking iPro on. If you're an RSO, you should know better than to be on an indoor range without iPro on. And he like stormed out of the range, like got all pissed at me and stormed out of the range. So that's kind of some of the things that we deal with on a regular basis.
Well, to kind of tie it into the TACCON side of the house, the RSOs at TACCON were nothing like that.
No,
So
and those RSOs were handpicked by the range master staff.
Right.
Because they are people who know what the fuck they're doing, and they are people who are also accredited shooters themselves. I mean, you had Dan Brady, you had Memphis, a bunch of other dudes that were rocking the red shirts.
Akil runs all that.
You actually had guys who were accredited shooters acting as RSOs, and that's what kind of made the event even better, because you didn't have
that's a big deal.
Yeah, you didn't have I passed the NRA RSO class, now I know what I'm doing, listen to me. It's like, no, that's not the person I want to listen to. Your certificate tells me you stayed awake for 12 hours and you paid $300, and that's pretty much the extent of your qualification for that certification. So
they had very good support staff at this event, and everybody was great. I think the only thing that we really like, OFT, I'll speak for us as a group, have to be mindful of is this is Dallas Pistol Club that this event is held at, and it's in Dallas, so it's in an urban-ish area. It's like close to the airport, and they have a policy where you cannot point the gun above a certain level, right? So it's outlined when you're there. It's not like a mystery. It's not nebulous. It's very clear. But and to be clear, we're not pointing our pistols directly up,
straight up.
No.
We're not doing that weirdo stuff, but during a reload, it's possible when we're doing it like in a quick manner that we might be at that angle, which might be a little bit too much for what is normally accepted or needed for Dallas Pistol. So I know when we get into this event where it's like I'm always telling myself, all right, remember, you gotta keep we have to really make sure I'm thinking about how I handle the gun and make sure that muzzle never leaves the line and the angle at which it's necessary for this event to happen. And again, the ROs are there to help maintain that, because they know that's a little unusual for some of us who have been shooting for quite a while.
I made it a point to keep the muzzle at the target, because I still cannot bring myself to point the muzzle down at the ground to do reloads and malfunction.
No, of course not.
I know, but even to come from parallel even a little bit is like, ooh, this is really hard for me to do, because I never want to point the gun downward to do any admin work with it. We're always in this high ready workspace, so it ends up being from here to here, like just sort of parallel line. And that was like, have to make sure totally visually, physically focused on doing that.
Well, listen, I mean, the last thing you want is to drive all the way down there and be the reason why the entire event gets kicked out.
Yeah, really.
That's an anxiety-inducing aspect of that. But,
it's not like it's not a natural place to put the gun, but it is like when in Rome. Roam around the way the Romans do.
Here's the reality, right? Like, all of us have been shooting long enough that, we understand that we get into habits, but we've also got enough awareness that we can make that change happen, right? And we all did. But it's like one of those kind of funny aspects of, and that's really, again, an element of why the ROs are there is that, they know it's a kind of it's an unusual thing for some shooters. And especially, if you have a pretty nasty training scar with your gun handling and you can't undo that well, it's their job to make sure that they help you through that. But they're not, they're not a drag on all the education. So, again, another commendable element of this event is that they have great staff to be able to help you out, deal with it, any kind of gun issues, et cetera, et cetera. So
yeah, there was
really good stuff.
And the cool thing too was you would see those RSOs, if they weren't working a line, they would hop in the class, and you'd be like, "Hey, weren't you just running a line on the last iteration?" Yeah, but to here I'm shooting shotgun with you. Like, holy cool! Like that's holy shit. That's awesome. They were right there. If they weren't working, they were shooting on the line with us, and that was, you want to get somebody's respect, and you want to show them, hey, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Well, yeah, let me see you on the line. Like that's super cool.
So, in kind of like closing a little bit of this up, we've been at it for a little over an hour now, just to kind of manage that. But, I know I had said about midday on Sunday, because it started to warm back up again. We had weather that came through that got really chilly, and then, it was kind of cold the second day. And then we had the weather changeover, which was the wind that we saw during the shoot-off. But as soon as it warmed up, I know I made the mandate. I set my foot down and I said, listen, we are going to get ice cream at the end of the day today.
Yeah, you really had to put your foot down with that.
Yeah, you really had to twist our arms to get ice cream.
Yeah, sorry guys, but I want ice cream. Like,
it's a big ask for our team. So we went out, we had some dinner at Heart 8, which I know for the Texas locals, they're willing to get into arguments about where the good barbecue is, but we're from New York, and Heart 8 was just fantastic. Easy to get to, 8 minutes from the range, ate some good food, saw some friends on the way out, saw Tim, saw some of the folks that we've been talking to.
Yeah.
And so, got to say some extra goodbyes, and then headed out to Shreveport, where we had a fantastic pistol skills class at Red River Range.
Love that
with
spot.
The folks there.
What a
beautiful range.
Yeah.
What a huge advantage for the folks in Shreveport. That's a fantastic little facility there.
Yeah. Plus Brandon Bruce, phenomenal dude. I love that dude so much. He is so fucking cool. He is like, again, one of those hosts that I'm like, hey, I would like to do this date, and he's like, okay, cool, you got it.
Yeah.
All right, do I need to bring? No, I got everything. Whatever you need, just show up. Bring your gun, your ammo, and your ear pro, and I got everything else you need. Just a really solid host, and that's like for those of us that travel everywhere to go teach. Having somebody like that I don't got to worry about any bullshit when I get there. Like that's
it was a great
totally
class,
cool.
and bonus advantage, we got Aaron in class with us. So Aaron Hildebrandt of Sasquatch Tactical, guys, if you don't know, and you're in that kind of northern middle area, Leesburg area.
Yeah, Mount Dora.
And you want to learn how to shoot, and you want to learn how to shoot well. Sasquatch Tactical is a great company to go to. Another just huge advocate for his students. Also does some really incredible work for giving back in the veteran space and in the adaptive veteran space. And one of the incredible people that we met at TACCON, Ryan, Ryan Newell, who
he's been throwing one-liners in the chat.
Zingers in the chat.
My God,
man.
he's killing me.
Yeah, as he should, right? Another one of our tattooed friends. Incredible work on him, by the way. But a phenomenal shooter, right? And a person that gave half of his body for this country, and then is getting out there and throwing down, and just what a shining example of
but he's covered in tattoos, so
Degenerate.
But it was great because I was kind of like, oh wow, it would be awesome for folks to see someone drawing from concealment from a wheelchair, right? Just look at that there's no oh, I gotta do this or I gotta do that. No, he's just throwing down, and that was like oh, we should make this connection. Like that would be awesome for folks to see and learn from.
Yeah,
But,
so I did talk to Aaron about getting Ryan involved with Hava, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm already on it," and I was like, "You should be, because that's."
Yeah. I mean, in general, but it's specifically there for folks to see. Here's just an incredible shooter who's getting after it, no matter what. Nothing getting in the way. And but yeah, it was great to see Aaron for another day. We missed Jen. Unfortunately, she was tangling with the hotel in Shreveport.
No.
But we got to meet Chris. I hadn't met Chris, who's kind of part of his team ish at Sasquatch, and we had a good dinner before that. But Shreveport was awesome, and then we made our way home. Right, so I think it was a really good trip. We, like we said at the beginning of this, nobody wanted to type everything out.
No, too much.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No, too much editing.
I got work to do. I got places
and,
to go.
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I got a class Thursday night in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then Friday I go to Xenia, Ohio. I'm working as assistant instructor for Tom Givens for the advanced range master class. And we actually have I think 4 or 5 of our students in that class. Benjamin Pish, Kyle Blackman, Jimmy Carcano, Tyler Hoffman, and our other guy, Kyle Marinslin, was going to go, but he's got a puppy-related issue with his dog that he's got to take care of this week, so he had to postpone. But we got 4 of our OFT alumni that are coming to that class in Ohio, and we're looking to make sure they leave with all the Top Shot awards and the coins and the cards and everything. So I'm sure they'll do phenomenal, as these guys always do every class.
They're
so.
all solid shooters, all devoted to what they're
Yeah, all 4 of them, all 4 of them. Like, I don't know who would take Top Shot, because Tyler is amazing now. Kyle Blackman's amazing. Ben Pish took something in the last class. I think he took the coin for baseline.
He got the B8, that 100.
Yeah, the baseline assessment. He got Top Shot on that. Kyle Marinslin got the casino award, and then Blackman got Top Shot overall.
Top Shot, yeah.
So, like, these are our students. These are guys that train with us all the time, and that's amazing to see them accomplish such awesome achievements. So I'm going to be waiting to see coming home what we're coming home bragging about.
All right. Well, like I said, we just kind of wanted to jump on here and just do the download in real time. We're all busy. Sean made it all the way over here at our house on that. So, once again, big congratulations across the board to all the top shooters and to every shooter that joined that event and competed. We were happy to be all out there on Sunday, double plaqued up. Where's yours? Hey, so I got second.
Yo no tengo.
And the better shooter.
Oh wait, let me see yours.
Incredible.
There's
shooter.
mine.
And listen, again, the same thing that Tom said to you, Ben, is that, again, like the types of folks that are in that shoot off, we're talking about incredible shooters.
Yeah.
This is nothing to downgrade or look sideways at. These are all incredible shooters. So great work across the board to everybody, but especially to us, like, hey.
Well, we have this like, honor of, we go to events, and as a team, we always come home with something. We always come home with some sort of accolade, some sort of award, some sort of prize, whether it's Top Shot, Casino Drill, Women's Champ, Men's Champ, whatever it is. It's like the team. It's a team effort, and it just makes me proud that at least one of the awards from each event that we go to comes back to our company. So that's, and that goes for our students and for our staff, because we hold the staff to the same standard that we hold the students to.
Yeah, and that's serious. And like I think guys and gals, when they first get into class, they don't realize that we're really serious about that. That's not
just a little bit.
Bullshit.
I think people think we're joking around, or like that I'm joking when I say like, hey, every once in a while, we'll be in a class and I'll be like, hey, Sean, you're shooting this next drill. Or, hey, Rachel, get up here and shoot this next drill, shoot this next qual. And we throw each other under the microscope at all the time. And it's like, you either shoot it and you pass it, or you get to work on it and figure out why you failed it. And people go, oh, you're really that tough on the staff? I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I am. Because if we can't do it, why are we asking other people to do it? If we can't show the students that A, we can do it, or B, we're willing to fail trying to do it in front of them, you're never going to earn their respect. And they're never going to think like, oh yeah, man, he really puts himself out there. They're going to be like, yeah, he never demos anything. Been in those classes. I've been in those classes with dudes that don't demo anything. And it makes you wonder why. Why doesn't he want to demo?
Yeah.
And you're not going to gain people's respect by not doing the thing that you are requiring them to do. It's just bullshit.
Well, I'll say, whether it's us teaching or some of the folks that we're bringing in, as you highlighted, we have Eric Gelhaus inbound. Again, these are folks that we trust you guys to learn from.
We've got
maybe. So what's that?
We've got Eric Gelhaus, Mark Smith, Steve Fisher galore.
Really got Steve.
All the Steve Fisher classes for like the month of September, I think. Chuck Pressburg coming in up in Massachusetts. And then December, Masad Ayub.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
And then next year, I've already got about 2 weeks where I will be on the road with another well-known instructor from the Seattle area who's very big in the law enforcement community. And I don't want to blow the surprise.
So, again, guys, if you want to get in and train with us, we do have our big summer event coming up in June, the Summer Fest. It's a 3-day event that we hold at Ridgeline. We understand that's a destination environment. We pour everything that we can into that event. So whether it's one of the folks that we're bringing in or you're just coming to classes with us, we can't wait to see you. And just understand that, this is really important to us. We put a lot of effort into it. And we're just so excited to be able to participate in some of these events. And we're also hoping, again, that, if you had questions about TACCON, that we address them, jump into it. It does sell out very quickly. So once that does open up, that door opens for 2027. Don't wait. Don't be surprised if it sells out in like minutes. I think it was minutes this past year.
It was like inside of 24 hours it sold out.
Yeah, easily. So, just FYI,
don't snooze.
Hem and haw on your entrance to this. If you think you might want to go to it, I would sign up to it. Any other questions that you guys have? Hey man, show up to class, ask us there. We'll be happy to address them. Anything 100%. Else you guys got before we go?
Not really. No, I mean, we pretty much covered the entire trip from start to finish. We did not discuss the multiple Bussies trips. Bucky's, for those of you that don't know the Bussies thing. Couple record stores here and there, some really good food. And I think I got like 100,000 Marriott points now.
Nice.
From all the hotels.
So that'll cover the hotels for next year.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. So
ideally.
Right. Tiffany said it's going to be opening up for the registration for TACCON is going to open later this week.
Yeah, and just throwing this out there, OFT is actually donating a spot at TACCON next year to somebody. somebody whose name was mentioned in this little AAR that we did. Just something that I want to do as a thank you for somebody, for what they've given. And I told Tom, hey, we're gonna cover the spot for this person. So that's kind of a thing that we do every once in a while. We'll do some crazy stuff like that. So surprise, surprise.
All right. All right. I think that's it. So we've been at it for an hour and a half, and I think everybody's sick of our shit at this point. So
I don't know.
all right. So we'll see you guys later. Follow us, sign up for classes if you're curious about something. Again, they only happen when you sign up, so please don't hesitate on that sort of stuff. Our traveling instructors, we need you to commit to that so that they can pay for their travel and get home to their families and get back at it.
And schedule.
As always,
scheduling things like what really sucks to have a guest instructor like have to cancel and then have to do like a last minute salvage of those dates to find work.
Sure. So
if you see guest instructor classes, get in them ASAP. That way we can guarantee it'll happen.
So, and all of this is to say, like, we know this is a lot of your finances lately. We know ammunition is getting more expensive. And so this is just about ensuring that you guys are selecting the best for your money and your time. That is something that we are always aware of, and we hope that we always try and deliver for you guys. So once again, thank you for joining us. If you did, if you're watching this later on and you got more questions, comment, we'll get to them. I promise. Otherwise,
cool.
Have a great night.
You got it. So,
guys. Yeah, got you. Okay.